What's up, everybody? We are back to cover the NFL divisional round, and then eventually we will preview the college football playoff national championship between Miami and Indiana. First, I don't know if you guys want to talk about any of the firings that have happened since we last been on. It's been lots of interesting things. I was one away from the whole division from losing all their coaches, and that would be the AFC North. And of course, it's the Cincinnati Bengals that kept their guy. I love all the memes, man. It's like Squidward from like SpongeBob peeking out, looking at all the fan bases having fun, picking out a coach while they're stuck with their situation. You can make fun of it any way you want to. But pretty crazy though. A lot of people were surprised Mike Tomlin stepped down, a couple firings. Harbaugh allegedly moving on to the Giants. We had a lot of coordinators fired over the past week or so. And I don't know. Still no word on Matt LaFleur, which is oddly, they were really fast to say that they were trying to hire him or trying to get an extension. It's been crickets since then. Now it's like not as positive that they might come to a new contract extension. So pretty cool stuff. I don't know if you guys want to put your 2 cents in before we get into the divisional round or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were. I mean, your coach was the one to step down. I think it was the biggest one of the week. So,
yeah, not surprising. So rumors starting to come out that he let some people know earlier last year before the season started that this might be his last year coaching period. And this year was the first year he had a chance of fire Tomlin. Pretty sure that did not feel great after 19 years. But after like letting it sit, I was kind of big that we do need a change. I did want to say, looking at the roster, like me and Aaron's team, right? The Packers have been having like a lot of playoff, punishment over the last 10 years as well, just like my Steelers, for different reasons. Packers just coming up short, weird play calling at the end. The Steelers, it seems like with no quarterback, they just seem to have like he's just brought a team maybe they didn't deserve to have a winning record all those years, and he brought them there anyways into the playoffs, and then they just got beat by people that were meant to be in the playoffs. I was looking back at some of those losses; they were all pretty decent teams, and they were all hitting all the right cylinders. The Browns team, you can say what you want; they were on fire at towards the end of that season, but everything else, though, you know, what other coach can get that team above 500 every single year like that, lacking talent on the offensive side especially. So we'll see, man. I hope I'm not going to regret this a year or two down the line. But Steelers have a history of hiring really good young coordinators that are under the radar. So I've already heard some rumors, some stuff. Kind of curious how that plays out, but I will definitely miss Mike Tomlin.
yeah, I wouldn't be as worried if I was in your shoes. An organization, 3 head coaches in their history or 3 head coaches in the last 50, 60 years or whatever the heck it is. Like, basically the modern NFL, they've only had, 3 guys running the ship. And that's the type of organizational stability, teams should be striving for, not being overreaction by a bad season here or there, and understanding like there's a longer journey versus like these short hints of success. But after 19 years and the record of, was it 8 or 9 years in a row, first round in the playoffs done or something like that, it just becomes a time where, it probably wears on Tomlin, especially as a head coach. You mentioned here in the fire Tomlin stuff, but even to that point, there's an ego involved. There's a competitive involved, and hey, I'm not getting it done, and I've done everything I can in this particular situation, and I've done so much to maintain the culture and build the culture within this organization, and I can't get more out of it. And I'm maximizing maybe the roster that's given to me for better or for worse. Hasn't had it. We talked about this the last pod. The Roethlisberger injury. I mean, what are we on? Like 6 years ago at this point? Like that he's had probably a legit starting quarterback that you can. And without a quarterback in this league, man, I don't know if you're able to win a Super Bowl pretty much at this point. So I mean, smoke and mirrors getting to 500 a lot of times with this with what the roster he's had. So incredible run. really, I mean, for us, Aaron and I think back to our early sports conversations 19 years ago at this point. Tomlin, defensive coordinator for the Vikings, on the sideline watching those games, and then turns out to be the Steelers head coach at that time. And hey, this was like one of the kind of the early young guns in coaching, and he was a defensive coordinator, and there was some swagger to him, and the culture, and kind of just, I guess, no BS, straight talk. Guys like to play for him, and then the overall stability of the organization. I would say there's probably an element you're probably going to miss about him, Rome, but at the same time, I mean, he seems like, I'm not coaching next year. I mean, he could be like Coward, never coaches again. He maybe crushes it at TV. I get 100%. We were chatting in the group text on this. Like, I think every major network would probably want this guy because, I don't know, he just feels like he'd be an electric person on TV. You're going to want to watch. He's going to.
I definitely have a lot of sound bites, but he doesn't seem like a personality that's for TV.
We said the same thing about Belichick, and he was killing it.
Well,
he probably should have stayed in TV.
Yeah, he should definitely should.
Belichick killed it. You think of Saban, man. Saban's awesome on TV.
Saban's great.
He's awesome on the TV. So I think there's something. I mean, you can play him out, but I think he's a communicator. I think there's some stories he could tell. I think there's probably a filter he had in those post-game press conferences. But, I mean, if you listen to the sound bites of his post-game press conferences, they're hilarious just because he's unintentionally not giving you anything, just kind of like how Belichick did it. But he did it, different ways, like, we're lucky to make it out of this place alive, and I'm just, keep it into the grind. Like, every press conference was him, like, going to war. And, like, while it's not actual war, but it's, there is a battle going on every week, and he was a general taking his team into battle and coming out of it. So I don't know. He was always entertaining to me, and I feel like that translates to TV. I mean, he can't be worse than some of these other guys. I mean, I said ESPN, and you said Rex Ryan's entertaining or whatever like that. Like,
I like Rex on TV.
He's goofy entertaining, but I think there'd be like a more of a serious entertaining and analysis on Tomlin versus like Rex Ryan or some of these other guys on TV. Like Aaron said CBS. I mean, that'll definitely lively up. CBS just feels like it's a network for, 70-year-olds at all times, what they put on TV. So, I mean, maybe that livens up the CBS broadcast a little bit.
I like the CBS crew. Fox, a little different, though.
I mean, Fox stability, they've had the same crew forever, too. They're like
yeah, but they're forgetting it, like... It looked like they space out every other show.
Well, that's Terry Bradshaw, man.
That's Terry Bradshaw, yeah. I'm like, dude, that guy's...
TV be kind of like just talking in circles sometimes. Howie, Strahan's been there for a while. Rob Gronkowski's been there, maybe this is third year, fourth year maybe. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, Tomlin, whether or not he gets back into coaching, who knows? I mean, he might want to keep that 19 years straight, winning record, retire on those morals, and, a Super Bowl. He will be missed in Pittsburgh. There's no doubt about it. I think, we talked about that roster. It's not a great roster. I mean, for him to get that team to 10-7 and 9-8 every year and win playoff games and it's difficult. I'd be curious going back on, what he's lost, 6-7 straight playoff games. I'd be curious if they were even favored in any of those playoff games because honestly, I'm not even sure if they were.
The Bears one they were. I know that one.
You're talking about regular season, but I think he's talking about the playoffs.
Yeah. It was that playoff game.
They didn't put the Bears.
It wasn't against the Bears in the playoffs. That would have been a Super Bowl.
No. Browns. That's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Browns. So, yeah, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. I mean, that's when Baker had a great game. Stefanski kind of came on, and the Browns were, kind of up and coming there, whatever it was, 2019, 2020, whatever year it was. But, yeah, I mean, Tomlin... We'll see. I mean, he's going to go in the media for at least a year. We'll see what kind of jobs become available and whatnot. He says he's not getting into coaching. I mean, he was getting paid, $25 million a year to coach the Steelers. So there's a lot of money on the table. He wants to get back into it. And there could be some good jobs that open up next year of some teams that don't perform well, like a Tampa, Philadelphia. If those jobs come open, I could see Tomlin being very interested in those positions if they come. So we'll see what happens. I don't rule it out that he does not get back into coaching. He's only 53 years old. But like Jason said, if you like the media gig, he's going to make good money doing that. It's a lot more easier, a lot more stress. You don't have to worry about wins, losses, and the media asking you questions and kind of not giving him anything. And I think you could have fun with it, and we'll see. I mean, Bill Cowher's I didn't expect Bill Cowher to continue to still be on CBS NFL Today, and he's still there. He's the longest tenured guy now outside of, Brown. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Was there anything else that happened No, because everything's kind of like wishy-washy. We're not going to hear anything about the coaching for like another week or two, right?
Coaching for what, new hires?
Yeah, probably not, because everyone's still waiting on what happens after this divisional round. I think that's going to be like the last round if we do see a firing or two.
I mean, the only coach that would get fired would be what, Sean McDermott, right? I mean, Payton's not going anywhere. I mean,
No.
Kyle Shanahan, that'd be a shocker. And Mike McDaniel is what, second year? He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere now.
So,
All
right.
right.
You mentioned Matt LaFleur. I'd be surprised if Green Bay moves off him. That's probably something that gets a deal done. I would assume gets done pretty soon here. Maybe Monday morning, maybe late tomorrow afternoon once media goes to sleep and gets ready for the games.
We will see. We will see. I sent Jaeson a whole bunch of memes. I know he recently just got booted off right now, but sent him a lot of stuff on the Bears and Ben Johnson. Heard a lot of rumor talk about Caleb. We'll get into that a little later on.
Well, I heard just Matt LaFleur is working with his pal Sean McVay on a game plan for the Bears this weekend's game. So he's double dipping, trying to take Ben Johnson out back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. We'll see, man. Two crazy coaches going at it. Should we just get into it then?
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I'm sure Jaeson will be on here in a minute or so. These internet problems with Riverside continue to carry on throughout the week.
I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Let's get to that. NFL divisional round kicks off on the 17th, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, which is kind of nice. I'll have plenty of stuff to do before those night games. Wait a minute.
The first game is Buffalo and
God damn it, dude. You're fucking lines. What's up? Can't we just get one lines that's like in order? I'm like, that's a really late start time for the first game.
They have it set up. I don't know why they have it. They set it for the betting rotating number, so that's why they have the Niners. I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. First game of the game of the day. Take 2. Buffalo Bills at the Mile High City. Denver Broncos at 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern on Saturday. The Broncos are favored by 1 over the visiting Bills. Money line really close and similar. We also have the over/under at 46 for Buffalo and Denver. Aaron, since you're a big Denver guy, go ahead and kick us off with which way you're leaning for this.
Well, I mean, I'm not so much a Denver guy, more Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and they're both happen to be in Denver. I was on them, that's one of the calls I got right during our preseason preview of Denver winning the AFC. I did have them getting to the AFC Championship game, and I think they get to the AFC Championship game, Rome. The line came out early in the week. Buffalo was favored by 1.5. They're now an underdog by 1. I think the line is now shifted in the right direction as the Sharps have jumped on Denver. Buffalo, I mean, they were in a physical game Sunday against the Jaguars. I mean, Josh Allen, everybody's got foot, ankle, knee, shoulder, neck, whatever. I mean, he was in a battle. I'm sure he's been in the ice bath all week getting ready for this game. They lost 2 starting wide receivers and Gabe Davis and another guy out. I think they're getting Curtis Samuels back. But for Denver, offensive struggles, they've had them all year. Defensively, we know they're a really good unit. They're going to play physical. They're going to get after them again. I just think Sean Payton with a week off, kind of regroup this offense, kind of go back and look at film at what they like, what they think they were successful during the year, play calling wise, formation wise. I like Denver in this game, Rome. I think Buffalo just won their first game under Josh Allen ever on the road in the playoff era. They're one and done, and I like Denver to get to the AFC Championship game and host it next weekend.
Nice. Jaeson.
Yeah, Aaron brings up all great points, but I'm going to go the other way on this, and I'm going to take Buffalo. Beginning of the season, I think Buffalo was my pick to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, and obviously I thought the roads were going to go through Buffalo and not through Denver. and had probably my doubts with the defense and everything going into it. Aaron's absolutely right as far as Josh Allen getting banged up. We talked about it on the recap. He was in the blue medical tent, I think 3 out of the first 4 drives or something versus the Jaguars. And there's a lot of things going against him, but there's something in this playoff run right now for Josh Allen that I think this is almost kind of a legacy, little bit of a run. You got no Mahomes, you got no Lamar Jackson in the way. You're going against a different, younger group of quarterbacks. And this is a seasoned team, and it's going to be a type of the game. Can this Bills team be like almost this, like the Chiefs were the past couple of years, where there's no rhyme or reason why this team is winning and they just kind of gut it out towards the end and win a close game? And that's what I think it's going to be. For the Broncos, Aaron talked about retooling the offense, and there was something kind of towards the end of the year that they kind of found with the offense, probably most notably for Denver in that Packers game that they had. But that's really their last great win, is probably versus the Packers, because then they followed up with the loss to a Jaguars team that the Bills just beat, a Chiefs team that was already out of it versus a bunch of backups during that holiday game that they barely walked through. And they play a Chargers team who wasn't playing anybody and was able to get there. So the test for the Broncos all year, I think the Bears were similar, kind of the Patriots, is like, hey, these guys had easy schedules. They didn't play a bunch of great teams. So at 14-3, well, in the NFL, I think every win does matter, and it's hard to say against scheduling. The Bills have really, they've gone it through the hard way, and they're going to need a hard path to go through here. So against everything Aaron's going to say, it's all great points. I think there's a little magic here for Josh Allen in this round, and the Bills advance to the AFC Championship game.
Nice. I like it. Was not expecting that. Thought you were going to go with Aaron and the boys here. I have not been shy. Me rooting for Josh Allen. I'm going to do it again. I will take the 1 point. I think this might have a chance to go on the over as well. It's going to be a battle between the defenses, as you guys know. I think Denver was 8-1 at home, but they led the league in total defense, especially with sacks, and they were one of the top defenses in rushing defense and scoring defense. But they did struggle at times against the pass. Bills, they've gotten a lot of flack on their defensive side of things, but towards the second half of the season, man, I feel like their DC has done some really good things. They suck at stopping the run, but everything else, so they're either like middle of the pack or they're like edging towards like the top third. Not terrible, not great, but good enough if they can just find a way. As you mentioned, Jaeson, this is just all the big superheroes in the NFL are out right now, and Josh Allen's the only one against all these upstarts. And I don't know, man. It's going to be pretty fun. What's the weather going to be like? Because even if it's cold, even if it's windy, I think that favors Josh Allen and the Bills even more. We've seen the Bills the Broncos. I can't remember how many games they had pretty close where they should have lost at home, and they just barely edged it out at the end. But
looks like it's going to be sunny but cold. But I don't think it's not going to have any sort of big weather conditions. I think it'll just be cold. The only game of the weekend that I think has notable weather is going to be Chicago and the Rams.
Yeah, Broncos have gotten a lot of flack too. Like, is this an actual good team? The amount of wins they won, Patriots got the same flack for their easy schedule. Niners gained the same flack. But the Broncos, for like a good portion of the season, they've been, etching out 1-2 point wins, very much like the Bears. I'm going to give the edge to the Bills here on the road. They're going to continue the road to success through Denver and put a stamp on it this weekend. So
one thing to note, Rome, we didn't bring up, this is a rematch of last year's wild card game.
Yeah.
In which Buffalo won 31-7 in Buffalo. So don't think Denver does not remember that as they make the trip to their home turf here in the Mile High.
Aaron's heavily leaning on the Broncos. He loves that pick. All right.
I do like the Broncos this week, Rome.
Yeah. No, it's all good, man. It is all good.
The Sharps like them too. They ate them up at +1.5 to make them a favorite now.
Yeah. Do you like the over or under?
I would probably tend to lean under. You mentioned Denver's defense has been great. 2 weeks, they'll be fresh. And Denver's offense has not been, lighting the scoreboards up. So this kind of feels like a 2017, 23-20 type game to me. So I would lean towards the under.
Yeah, I was thinking of anything. This might be like a Josh Allen game-winning drive or field goal here, 26-24, just beating the over on this one. Something like that. All right, second game on Saturday's slate. We have the San Francisco 49ers visiting the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks here by 7 points. This has come down a little bit. I believe it was 8.5 at some point early in the year. Money line plus 280 for the Niners based on Aaron's lines here that he provided, minus 350 for the Seahawks. Over under is 45. Jaeson, who you got in this one? In a rematch of that Week 18. Take it all for first in the division.
Yeah, I would say this one, interesting line considering how close these two teams were during the regular season. We just had a matchup, 2 weeks ago to end the regular season, decide first round. The bye, I think, comes a little more play. The Niners hurt all year. Fred Warner practicing, look like, out on the field with the power plants behind him. I saw some
not playing.
He will not play.
Will not play, so maybe coming back the week following if the Niners are able to advance to the NFC Championship game. To me, I think the game's going to be a lot tighter. 7 points is a lot for a Niners team that always kind of finds a way offensively. Now they got Kittle out, but they were able to get by without him. McCaffrey really the cog that kind of gets that offense going, and the defense, Salah's got them always ready to go up versus pretty much any opponent at this point. I still think the Seahawks win this game, but if you're going to go from a spread perspective, I've taken the Niners plus 7.
Aaron.
Yeah, I think I talked about it on the last one. I'm big on Seattle this week. Lay the points. I think if Seattle doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to blow the Niners out. If you go back and look at Sam Darnold, the 3 games Seattle lost, he had turnovers, some multiple turnovers in some of those games. So ball security will be key. Sam Darnold doesn't turn the ball over. They don't put the ball on the turf fumble-wise. I don't see any way in which the 49ers are going to really be able to move the ball and get anything against these guys. I know Trent Williams was not there Week 18. Kittle will not be back again. Ricky Pearsall is questionable. He may play or may not. But Seattle's just so much more athletic than these guys right now. They shut them down. I mean, the Niners have played these guys twice and scored 20 points in both games combined. I like Seattle. I think Seattle puts a 30-plus burger on them. I think it's a beatdown. Again, I think the only way Seattle loses this game is Sam Darnold goes back to kind of the Sam Darnold old of the Jets and with Minnesota towards the end of last year where he has multiple turnovers and just forces stuff, doesn't see the field right. I mean, he knows what he's going to get from Saleh. That defense is scheme-wise. To me, Seattle is a big play here. I'd be surprised if Seattle does not win, but I would also be surprised if they don't cover here. I like Seattle minus 7.
One thing about that Week 18 game, it was pretty tight, man. It was a defensive effort. And I was surprised how good the 49ers defense held the Seahawks that whole game. It was still anybody's game in the fourth quarter. I think Niners are going to respond really well. I actually like Shanahan coming up with the game plan, learning from those things from round 2 of that. It's kind of cool that we're getting a couple games here in the playoffs here where it's round 3, final decision for who takes the season series. I'm taking the Niners. I think just the cohesiveness. I think Brock Purdy is going to show out. The weather's going to be a lot better for him. They like Seattle. It's going to be tough with the 12th man. But I know Seattle's good, man. They're fucking good. Will and Bonnie, my friends that have season tickets, they mentioned the defense is scary. Like lights out, almost like what they called the Legion of Doom back in the day when they won that one Super Bowl.
Legion of Boom, right?
Boom, Doom, yeah. Would be.
And it was just like it was rough watching it in person down here at Levi Stadium, but I'm just going with the hometown team here since I'm right here in the Bay Area. I trust that the Niners are going to find a way to get it done, upset the Seahawks. This is going to be a tight contest. I got the under on this one. But just by barely, I'm thinking this might be like 41 to 43 points total in this. Niners barely escaping with a field goal of some sort to take away the victory. Tough loss in year 2 for the coaching staff in Seattle. All right, Sunday's games we got. Is this backwards as well? No, I think it's not.
No, it's right.
All right. The Houston Texans visiting the Patriots. in Foxborough. They are favored by 3 points with the 40.5 over under. Aaron.
Yeah, it's a big game here. I mean, the Texans eliminated your Pittsburgh Steelers there on Monday Night Rome, coming in here as a 3-point dog on the road against Drake May. Went back and looked at a little stats last year. Drake May did play against this Houston defense at home, sacked 4 times, multiple turnovers, and a blowout loss to Houston. What concerns me most, Jason pointed out in our last pod, is C.J. Stroud. He did not look comfortable in the pocket. His numbers look good, but if you actually watch the game, he did not play well. Not a confident quarterback. Could have had multiple more turnovers, just pinning the ball on the turf, interceptions. He's got to clean that up. I think this defense, bro, you've been touching on it for 2 months. Super Bowl defense, that's what they are. I still believe Houston is Super Bowl bound, but if C.J. Stroud does not step up and play a better game, this is a guy that's won at least one playoff game every year in the first 3 years in the playoffs. He did it again. That was his first road win, so maybe a little jitters there, but the only quarterbacks really to beat him have been Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Like Jason mentioned, the big guns are out. I like Houston to win here. Patriots, schedule's not been great. Drake May struggled last week against a Chargers defense that's really good. This defense is even better. We know the Texans are better than the Chargers. I'm taking the Texans +3. I think they win outright, but I'll take the points here.
Jason.
Yeah, Aaron laid it out for me as far as what you're going to get out of C.J. Stroud in this, and that's why I'm going to be going with the Patriots. I agree with Aaron. Like, Texans defense, great. It's going to be a definite challenge, but I think the Patriots D is really good too, and I think you're going to get more out of the running game with Henderson and Stevenson and the way they've been able to get these weapons going. I'm sure you'll get a good big play out of Diggs and what Drake May can do. This is a big kind of priming time moment here for Drake May to kind of step up and where he can deliver, this Patriots team and get it back to where they were for decades under Tom Brady. I just don't like what I saw to CJ Stroud. And if you could take away the first read, as I was talking about what it was versus the Steelers, what is he going to be able to do? I don't think those options are going to be there versus a more talented Patriots team.
So you got the Pats. Nice.
Texans might also be about Nico Collins as well. So he's not practicing still in concussion protocol. So
that's crazy, man.
I would expect him not to play, but we'll see what happens.
To be fair, he's been like hit or miss this year. Every time he's not playing, their tight ends step in. So might not be the end of the world there. I'm going to go with the Texans here. Patriots used everything to just escape a really beat up and really bad Chargers team that shouldn't have been in the playoffs. Let's just be honest. Herbert was not great. The offensive line was shit. They have a whole bunch of issues. We already knew that. And they barely got away with it. Texans, they already got like a nice little primed up game. They showed out mainly on the defensive side, scored more points than my Steelers offered to, sum up in the whole game, the 6 points. If Stroud corrects some of those mistakes, and he's been pretty good on that winning streak. I know he missed a few of those first ones with Straub, right? What is it, Straub? I stepped in.
Mills.
Oh, Mills. There you go. For some reason, Straub was a long time ago.
Matt Schaub. Schaub. Legendary backup quarterback, man. It's one of those. He's going to be a starter.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be like another bad performance from the Texans from the offensive side. 40.5 over under. That's kind of tough. I'm going to lean on the over on this one. I think this might be a 23-17 type of game here. Not high scoring, but more than they are suggesting. I got Houston defense getting them into the conference championship. I don't really have much to offer on that game, but that's going to be fun. I can't wait to watch that one. I think that might be my most favorite game out of all these besides Buffalo. Oh, they're all pretty good, but never mind. Scratch that. I don't know which one's my favorite. I have personal favorites in all of them. All right.
We know which one's Jason's favorite, the one coming up here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Game 100%. Of the week.
Game of the week for Jason. Now we could talk about some of that Bear stuff that I was alluding to while he was offline. We got the Rams visiting.
I go off the air and you start talking crap. I get it. Okay, it's fine.
This guy. No, not crap yet. Rams visiting Chicago. It's going to be nice and chilly. -4, -6, right? With the wind chill, allegedly. Rams favored by 3.5. Go figure. 48.5 over under. I think that's too high with how cold it's going to be. But the Bears, these guys seem to not give up. They're dead for 3 quarters, and then they wake up in the 4th. It's unlike anything we've seen in a while. Caleb Williams has earned the nickname Iceman, which is, I think is a little too much for year 2. I see Iceman stuff happening.
That's Chuck Liddell's nickname, man. So I don't know if
he's
Caleb
getting
borrowed that or
Iceman
not.
all over the socials. I heard that Caleb Williams is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. That has sprouted out among circles this week. I'm thinking like, wow, one amazing throw in the 4th quarter, and it changes your whole trajectory. People were barely putting him in the top 20, and now he's a top 3 quarterback. I've heard Ben Johnson is the best coach in the NFL. It's like, he's nuts, just like Dan Campbell. I heard he's the opposite of Eberflus, but kind of like balls to the walls, like cussing people out, just like Mike Ditka. Kind of brings out some of that tough blue collar stuff from back in the 80s that Chicago has been sorely been missing ever since then. So looks like he's vibing well enough there. Jaeson, do the honors. Tell us why your Bears are going to win this one. And you're taking them outright, or you're going to take the points?
Take them outright, Rum. All right, tell you why it's going to win, because we are in January right now, and you mentioned it's going to be 33 to 34 degrees at kickoff. You're going to have winds of 15 to 25 miles an hour with the wind chill. It's going to be below 20 degrees. There's a 40% chance of snow showers in this game. It is going to be cold. And Ben Johnson, you talked about it. All right, you echoes of Mike Ditka, whoever you want to talk about. You can hate people on the football field. It's okay. This is just sports. It's not that big a deal. We can have rivalries. Everyone doesn't have to be friends, okay? We can talk crap. That's basically what it's about. Sports nowadays, there's always criticism with our generation. I was like, oh, everyone's too chummy and stuff. No, Ben Johnson says, F you to the Packers. This is the rivalry. This is where it's at. Everyone's all whatever about it, but, there's some intensity to this. And you look at that Bears-Packers game, that stadium was rocking. We talked about that in the recap. There is an energy. Chicago is a football town. Michael Jordan wins 6 NBA championships as a legendary Bulls team. We talk about the 85 Bears for 40 years. My entire life, Rome. I was
disgusting.
I was baptized on Super Bowl Sunday in 1986, 40 years ago, okay?
Has there been any other team that's milked one championship more than the Chicago Bears?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying, all right? This is where it's at. You can talk about all your other teams. I tell my friends all the time, you talk about all your other teams, they win X amount of Super Bowls, but no one forgets the 85 Bears and where it's at, because Chicago is a football town, and you saw it in the crowd. You saw the Al Michaels and Herb Street talking about it, the crowd shaking. This building's going to be electric. Rome singing the national anthem. Legendary Jim Corneliuson, the Blackhawks guy opera singer, does the national anthem. It's going to be their pregame. It is going to be hyped. Now, any other time, if this game was in LA, I'd be super scared and every which way that Puka Nacua is going to have 250 yards and Stafford's going to have 400 yards receiving or whatever, because on that fast track at SoFi, the Rams really got it. But we are in a different place. We are in Chicago. This is the elements. This is what you play for in December, play NFL football in the conditions in which you got to play at. And the Bears, Ben Johnson, no heaters for the practice field. We practice outside, no heaters for the last month. The players hated it, but this is where that practice comes into proof, because they're going to need it. They need the fans. They need the conditions. The defense is scary, man. You saw the first half versus Jordan Love. Ain't great. You saw him versus the Niners, just giving up stuff to Purdy left and right. Ain't great. So that's the equalizer of the game. Caleb Williams, big plays, 4th quarter. The biggest thing I'll tell you about this, they can't fall behind as much as they did. They may be able to play like a score behind, but we can't be falling behind 21 points to the Rams team. That just can't happen. This is a really good football team. The defense in the front 7 of the Rams, really good. The back 4, I don't think it's good as the Rams kind of tout through. I think there's a matchup potential for the Bears with Colston Loveland. I think there's definitely something there with Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
Haven't seen a ton of him since he came back from his injury, besides the amazing 4th and 8 catch you talked about there. But there's definitely size advantage that they could utilize against the Rams secondary that they need to pick apart. The running game, again, crucial. What can Manungai and Swift do there? But Caleb Williams, you say it's one throw, Rome, but this has been the entire year. 7 fourth quarter comebacks. This guy, they do things in the first and second quarter to set up to the end of the game. And, it just can't be so much far behind. But Caleb makes the big throws when it matters, and that's where the legends are built up. He threw sort of 360 yards in that Packers game. Just keeps getting better and better. The Rams are going to be, it's not a small feat. I'm saying it's going to be tough. Stafford's great. Puka Nacua, arguably best wide receiver in the league. Jared Verse in the front four of that defense is really good. They got to protect Caleb at all costs. So it's going to be a tough game. But I think there is momentum with this Bears team. There's some magic with this Bears team, and I think it propels them another week to go to the NFC Championship game.
This year's Washington Commanders. We will see. Aaron.
Hey, spot on, Rome. Spot on that Commanders, right? Commanders, Bears. We talked about how these two teams have been linked. One team falls apart. The other one gets to a conference championship. I'm going to agree. I think the Bears plus 3.5 is a play here. I think they have a good chance to win this game. The Rams defense over the last 7 games has given up over 28 points a game. This is their third road trip to the Midwest East Coast in the last month. It's going to be cold. This defense is beat up. Stafford has not looked as good down the stretch here. He's been turning the ball over a little bit more. Obviously, you got to be concerned about what the Rams can do on offense with Devontae Adams coming back, Puka Nacua. They got the 3 tight end sets, 2 running backs. Offensive line's pretty good. The Bears defense is not great. Opportunistic, we know that. They're going to have to be here. Are they going to play if they can bend but don't break? They did a lot of breaking against the Packers, cleaned that up in the second half. We talked about when Jaeson was off that Matt LaFleur has been in Sean McVay's ear, kind of giving him some inside scoop. We know there's buddies. His brother happens to be the offensive coordinator for the Rams. So there's nothing more that the LaFleur family would want than to get Ben Johnson and the Bears out of there at the playoffs here, especially at home. It'd be devastating if Chicago shows up and plays the terrible game, considering how hyped up Jaeson is in that town. I think it's a close game. It was 4.5. It's down to 3.5. I still like it at 3.5. I'll take the Bears getting the points. I think Caleb Williams, he's continued to be special. He's going to have to. And I think some of the playmakers on the outside with the Rams trying to take away Loveland and the tight end, I think the wide receivers more in Rome are going to have big, big games. I think they will. I think it's Rome, you mentioned you like the under. It's come down from 50.5 down to, was it 48.5. It'd be interesting to see, but I'll take the Bears here getting the points. Give me the 3.5.
Wow. I'm going to go opposite way with the Rams. I know it's going to be cold. I know Stafford has not particularly played very well in the cold either. They're not the Niners, where the Niners play pretty good in the cold. But
Jaeson, do you happen to know off the top of your hand what is Stafford's record at Soldier Field overall? Even with some bad Detroit teams. I mean, Chicago didn't have great teams there either, but he's played plenty of games there, so he's familiar with the elements and the atmosphere. I'd just be curious if he has a winning or losing record going into Chicago. So that plays mental games on a quarterback.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of representation on his there was a stat going around. It wasn't Soldier Field, but it was like he's 1-9 in cold, rainy, and snowy conditions at Soldier Field, which is part of his overall 5-7 in cold weather games type stuff. So that was like a sporting news thing that was out there, but I know there's been some refute on where some of the things are getting there. But yeah, I don't know his overall record at Soldier Field though. I know, forgettable. It was a September game, not cold conditions. It was that infamous Calvin Johnson. Did he drop the ball?
Yeah, we know that. We know that.
Yeah.
That one sticks with me.
That was the opening game of the season, whatever year that was. But yeah, yep. I remember that one.
No. Bears have had a great year, lots of comebacks, but come on, Rams gonna win this one. That's all I got. I was gonna come up with like another saying, but I think it's a little 2x. It didn't make any sense. It was like worse than like that young bull, old calf, whatever. That
so
I
it
said
looks
last
like
week.
So it looks like Stafford is 5-7 all time at Soldier Field, with 15 interceptions, 16 touchdowns. So not very good numbers in 12 career games there.
Not very good. It's a new era. It's a new day. Could this be the last Super Bowl run for this Rams team? Yeah, I really don't have a lot on this Rams Chicago Bears game. I think it'll be exciting though. I'll be curious to see how the Rams play in the cold. Any final comments?
I think I said enough. I mean, Rome, you're probably just looking forward to like drinking my tears on Monday if the Bears don't win.
Nice.
But I'm gonna be happy, Rome. I'm gonna be positive. We're gonna be good. We're going into it. Good vibes going into this weekend all around.
Yeah. Hold your head up high.
I mean, if the Bears win and the Niners happen to win, that means the Bears would host the NFC Championship game. So
that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
they'll know that going in Sunday because the results from Saturday Seattle game will already be in.
I'll be honest, Aaron. There's an internal battle with me right now. If the Niners were to win, do I just book flights just in case the NFC Championship game's in Chicago? But then am I jinxing it going into Sunday? I don't know.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk the national championship game.